Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the one and the only Rum Boys Fantasy Network. I'm your host, Rum Boys Robbie, aka the Admiral. Thank you guys for joining us this afternoon. I know many of you guys are at work, stuck in traffic, so on and so forth, but we appreciate you guys tuning in and catching this interview. Please make sure that you share the content, and it's of the utmost importance that you guys hit that subscribe button if you have not already. Thank you for joining our community. Also, spike that like on this content, and also dive off in the live chat if you guys have any questions for our special guest today. Without further ado, enough of me. Let's get into who we are ready to interview today. Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest, former NFL cornerback, Eric Crocker. What's going on, Croc?
What's up, man?
Man, it feels like I haven't seen you in a couple of days. We were in film session Monday, and now here we are here on the Rum Boys Fantasy Network. I appreciate you making time, brother.
Oh yeah, I always tell people, man, anytime I have a chance to, talk about football or whatever, I'm always for it. So I always have time for that.
Absolutely. By the way, if you guys have not checked out Eric's Twitter, Eric_Crocker is where you can find him. Is what weekly that you're doing the film sessions? How are the film sessions working out?
Man, I don't know. It kind of jumped off. I did it a little bit last year around draft time. This time, how I started it, like I've only done two, but the first one was Jamar Chase, and that started because like so many people is like, oh no, like he's untouchable, he's the greatest ever, and I'm like, man, this dude has some big time flaws that kind of worry me, like, and I try to show a perspective of a guy as a prospect and not so much of, oh, this is just him, in college, and it's like, what really is he? So I was like, man, like I had hell of people in my comments or a bunch of the quote retweets of people telling me how wrong I am and how stupid I am. So I was like, you know what? Man, let's watch this together then. So I was like, tonight, hey, I was like, who's trying to get on Zoom? I was like, who's trying to get on Zoom? And we're gonna watch this together so y'all can really see what I'm talking about. So we got on Zoom and then that helped. And then there were a lot of people that were like, man, hey, that was dope. I really like that. Like, can we do somebody else? So then I'm like, all right, who y'all want to see? So they're like, Certain. So I hopped on that. I haven't had it like I don't really have like a set like day or how many times a week or whatever. But I think if I see, maybe something on my timeline, people kind of going back and forth about a prospect or whatnot, and or just telling me about how wrong I am or right, whatever, maybe I'll just hop on Zoom so everybody can watch it and break it down together.
Absolutely. I appreciate that those sessions as an analyst. I had only made the one this week, and I look forward to the next one whenever you do it. I actually have your notifications turned on because of that now. So I get all of your tweets now because it helps it out. It helps us out as analysts because now we're seeing the game from an actual player. You're not going to be able to get that privilege from someone that's performed the game and performed the task at multiple levels, let alone at the highest level. So to be able to get your insight, and then it's like, okay, wow, like he's seeing some of the things that I see, or even you allowed me the ability to, in that session where I was like, don't you think, maybe on this route, Certain should have maybe played a little bit closer, got hip to hip with the receiver, and then you allowed me to have that conversation. So it's beautiful that you do it. All the other players out there, veterans and current, just know that Crocker did it first. All right. So that's our film sessions and trying to get exclusive. Y'all start trying to put price tags out there. Yeah, $4.99. You can join my film session over on Twitch or over on YouTube. Just know that Crocker did it first over on Twitter. You heard?
Yeah. I try to just bring a perspective of like the why. You know what I'm saying? Because there are a lot of people. I mean, we can rank people, and you and I could probably have the same, or me and Joe Gilbert. That's just random. My name Joe Gilbert. We can have the same exact rankings, of our top 10 prospects or 5 prospects, right? But my thing that I try to bring is like the why, like why exactly, and then really be able to kind of break down and really show you exactly what it is, and not just in a small sample size. I mean, like from a large sample size, like us sitting down for an hour and some change watching Certain, like that's a larger sample size of like what it is. And why I got into it was, there were a lot of people, they would post a highlight, like they would post one highlight,
and
and then be like, oh, this is who this person is. And it's like, man, no, the hell, that's not who he is, man.
No.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So I try to just bring that type of perspective to just kind of bring more perspective to a prospect so people can see all angles of it instead of just going off of maybe something that's more analytically driven. And I don't have anything against analytics. Like I probably need to get more into it, but I think sometimes people let the analytics drive their argument on why somebody can or can't do something. I think a lot of times that leaves out a lot of context.
It's fascinating that you brought that up because another gentleman who I met, we all know him, Steve Smith Sr. I gotten the pleasure of meeting him and I asked him advice. I was like, I can ask you advice on playing football all day. That's not what I'm doing. I'm an analyst now. And I'd ask him, I was like, brother, what's your advice? In terms of me being a better analyst. And he said exactly what you just said. Don't always let the analytics tell the story. If I tell you, Josh Norman, whenever he's on the field, he's thrown to under 56% of the time, well, that lets you know, okay, they're not going to him, but why are they not going to him? That's when you go over and you watch the film and it's like, okay, it's because, how he's lined up against receiver, how he's getting hands on a receiver, so on and so forth. So it took me a minute to understand that. And even in the film session, you had brought me back and you had corrected me Monday night and you were like, I get that Surtain doesn't have the interceptions, but let's look at this. And then you played a clip and I was like, okay, yeah, I understand 100% where you're coming from. So I appreciate that. And I like that you see the game from different perspective. Let's go into, so of course, everybody knows. First, really quick, this comment here, I find it kind of funny. Croc definitely knows his shit. Pretty good Madden player too. I guess you've been out there online giving it to fools, huh?
I haven't had as much time to play like a whole lot online. There was the time where I would tweet out like who wants to play and we would put it up on I would do the Twitch. So all my followers and stuff can watch and I beat some people, but I'm in a man league, so I play that. I have a game every night. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean I love Madden. I'll probably play that till I die. So there
he goes. Hey, Kev. If you need a rematch, I don't know if Croc has beat you before, but if you need a rematch, hey, hit him up on a Twitter or something. I wanted to get into your time, your time with the Jets, just kind of how things elevated. So of course, you came into the league undrafted. I believe it was 2013. Yeah. I want to say 2012. 2013. Okay, 2013. I apologize. 2012. You had went to play with the Talons. I apologize.
Yeah.
Let's first go through draft night and what those emotions were. What was your thought process? Did you know that you were going to have to go out there and fight for a slot? I mean, what was going through your mind?
So my situation was unique. So there was no like draft night for me. So the way my whole thing went, I went to a small school. I went to a Division II school in Arkansas, and I was all conference, but I ain't put up like these crazy numbers or anything like that. So what I was being advised to do was, okay, after the season, you'll have to go to one of these local combines or stuff like that. And I'm like, man, I ain't. I go to the combine. Like, I'm not gonna run like a 4.4. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't that type of guy. I was, a bigger corner, but I knew I wasn't no blazer or anything like that. So someone had reached out to me and gave me the opportunity to play arena football. So I said, shoot, you mean I get paid to play after college? Like, cool. I didn't know nothing about arena. I saw it when I was a kid on TV, but I didn't really know much about it. And next thing I know, this was the highest level of arena football. So I just jumped on it. So as soon as my senior year ended on the football field, I went back to California and I just started working out and training with some guys that played in that league and trying to get acclimated to a totally different game. And from there, like nothing was guaranteed to me, like not even a spot on the team or anything. Like, and when I got there, I understood why, because I'm like, damn, he played in the NFL, he played in the NFL, he played in the NFL, he went to, this big college, he went to this big college. And then there's me, like, Arkansas, Monticello, like
you got to ball out,
And then I had like I didn't even really have like thoughts or dreams of playing in the NFL. Like, not, I mean, everybody has dreams of playing in the NFL, but like being realistic about it, I was like, man, like I don't know, But I had some dudes on the team tell me like, hey, Croc, bro, like there was a corner. He was actually with Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he was like, Croc, like you can play at the next level, bro. I promise you, bro. They not tighter than you like that. And I'm like, what? Like, I can play in the NFL? Like, I don't know. Nobody ever told me that. So, I ended up playing that whole year. I started every single game as a rookie, which was amazing because we had the best record in the league. We went 14-4. We played 18 games in the Arena Football League that year. We went 14-4. After the year,
if you want, you can go ahead and run that stat line. If you want to go ahead and flex on these boys in the chat, like you can let them know how much of a dog you was that year in 2012.
It's crazy. It wasn't even my best year as an Arena Football League player. Like I had 3 interceptions. I had like 70-something tackles or something like that. Like I played well. I think for the NFL guys, it was more so about like, okay, he has the length, 6'2", long arms. He's athletic. Like, maybe we give him a shot, right? So first it was the way it all happened was played, I'd say halfway through the year, one of my guys, Jerry Brown, he passed away. JB passed away. He was on my team though. JB passed away in a car accident 2012. He was with the Dallas Cowboys at the time, and it flipped over. If you guys remember, the teammate like left him in the car. The car like burned. I don't know if you guys remember that, but that all happened 2012. Well, JB, he was my teammate. So first he went to the Colts. He got pulled. He left like middle of the year, and then hit me. He was like, "Hey, Croc, the Colts like I still have those messages too from Facebook." But he was like, "Hey, Croc, hey, they asked about you. You know what I'm saying? So, just keep doing whatever you're doing. Just know, like, there are people that are kind of paying attention to what you're doing." So I'm like, cool, whatever. Like, NFL, that's crazy. So, so the season ended. I didn't have I didn't have no looks from CFL or NFL really. I go home. I actually go to a UFL tryout. I don't know if you remember the UFL league.
Yeah.
They had a short stint, but they're making like $5,000 a week. I'm like, I need that. So I went to the tryout. I didn't make it because I ain't had an NFL tag next to my name. They liked me all the way up until the point to where they really got to know me. They're like, oh, he don't got NFL. Everybody they kept had played like been, whether it was mini camp or whatever, they had NFL tag next to their name. But an agent that was there, and he was like, hey, Croc, like, I watched you this year. I think you're a baller. Woo, woo. Let me represent you. I'm like, ooh, agent? Okay, let me get this agent. So I put together a little highlight tape and whatnot. I give it to him, whatever. I sign with him. And I'm telling him, like, all right, like, can you send these to CFL teams? Like, maybe CFL teams might like what I'm doing. Woo, woo. He's like, oh, wait, you gotta crawl before you walk. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, I just crawl. Like, I just played in the Arena League. I started every game. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I did my thing.
70 tackles? Like, come on.
So he wasn't really talking about nothing. So, a month goes by. He's telling me, like, oh, this Arena team wants to sign you. This team. All these Arena team want to sign me. But I'm like, I can do that on my own. Like, I can do that on my own. Like, get me to the CFL.
Yeah.
So, one of my homeboys, Devin Mays, he actually played with Houston. He went to college at University of Houston. He had an agent that kept getting him CFL workouts. So I'm like, man, who's your agent, bro? Because this dude I'm messing with, like this dude, he ain't doing nothing for me. So I ended up getting in contact with his agent. His agent was like, oh, somebody told me you would be calling, like, can I see your film? So I sent him the film, and it was almost like he was taking the call just because, like, somebody told me to look at it. Like, so, I give him a solid, I'll look at it, whatever. So he looked at it, and I could hear him like, okay. He's watching it while I'm on the phone, like, okay. I think we might got something here. Like, I'm gonna call you back. So I ain't hear from him for like 2 weeks. He texted me, what were your pro day numbers? And I was like, man, I ain't doing pro day. I was just doing straight to the AFL. And he was like, okay, I'm gonna hit you back. Then I ain't hear from him for another 2 weeks. Hits me back. Hey, BC Lions, they want to fly you into any workout you want to go to. So I'm like, cool.
Okay, like, now we working.
And he was like, yeah, man, like, but you got to sign with me. I'm like, done deal, like done. So I fired my agent, which was the hardest thing for me because I'm such a nice guy. Like, I don't know if you've ever had to fire somebody, but like, it's tough. Like, it's tough to tell somebody like, hey, I ain't fucking with you no more. Like that. That's hard. Like, yeah. So I had to actually fire an agent, and I signed with him. And I kid you not, man. Like, as soon as I signed with him, he was like, all right, let's go to work. So I met him. I faxed him the paperwork over. Man, dude, like, I can't make this up, bro. Like, I'd say within 2 hours, 3 hours, there was about 8 NFL teams that hit him up.
What?
Hey, we want to bring Crocker in for a workout. So most of them were like, it's kind of hard to see exactly how he moves and stuff like that. We want to see those things. So can you have him make a workout video? So I made a workout video, and all this stuff's on YouTube. So you can kind of like everything I'm saying, like you can see my Arena League highlight from 2012, and then you'll see the little workout video of me just working out. And then that got me, like 2 days later, the New Orleans Saints was like, hey, we want to fly him in tomorrow for a workout. Yeah. Now, granted, I wanted no shape or anything to work out. I've been working at Macy's for $7 an hour in San Antonio, Texas. And they flew me in. Well, my 40 was terrible. Matter of fact, they flew me in during the Super Bowl week of the 49ers versus 49ers versus Ravens.
Ravens, yeah.
So remember, this was in New Orleans. So when I was there, me being a big 49er fan, if y'all follow me, I'm a big 49er fan.
Yeah, you're huge 49er fan.
I'm in there eating lunch with Harbaugh and all these guys. Now, I'm not eating with them. I'm just
you're around. Yeah,
I'm like, let's Kaepernick, Crabtree, Goldson, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, oh, they all here. But I had my workout and I did well. I killed the drills. I killed the ball drills. It was me and one other person. This guy named Chad Jones. He was an LSU safety. He had got drafted to the Giants. He got drafted to the Giants and got in an accident and tore his leg up in the end of his football career. But this was his first workout in front of any NFL scouts and stuff. So it was me and him. I clearly looked better than him. I killed the drills and everything, but I ran a 4.7. They're like, no, we can't do that. We can't do the 4.7. But they're like, but we will bring you in the rookie minicamp. So to me, remember, Division II guy, and I didn't even tell you this stuff even before to get to a D2. Like, I was out for 3 years. Like, went to junior college, was out 3 years, working random jobs. The
JUCO cycle. Yeah,
doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Then went back to junior college after 3 years of being out, and that's how I got a scholarship. But so going through all that, then all of a sudden, hey, you got a rookie minicamp invite. I'm like, hell yeah, I done made it, right? So I'm thinking I made it. Like, so I fly. They fly me back to San Antonio. As soon as I land, the damn Philadelphia Eagles, they call my agent. Hey, we want to bring Crocker for a workout next week. So my agent was like, done, right? So my agent hits me, Croc. The Eagles want to fly you in, but you gotta work on your 40. So fly home, get with whoever you got to get with. So I flew home, and I trained with this trainer. Just on my 40-yard dash, just on my start, we worked out a total of 3 hours over 3 days. A total of 3 hours, and just on my start, flew to Philadelphia, ran a 4.53, so greatly improved. Like greatly improved, right? But I was still out of shape. I wasn't in like good shape like that. Like, it took a while to get into some shape. And now it was just me. It was hella cold. Like, so this was with Chip Kelly, and my adrenaline was because they had like 70 dudes from their front office, and it's just you working out. Yeah, like it's just you backpedal, brake, shuffle, doing all these different things. They're trying to test your movement skills. My chest hurting. I'm like, damn, it's cold. I'm trying not to show it. Like, I'm about to die. That's what it feel like. Yep. They didn't sign me. They're like, oh, you too out of shape. So I get back, and boom, Jets call. And it wasn't just the Jets. It was like the Jets, the Colts, the Packers, and a few other teams were like, they stacked up the workouts back to back to back to back.
Yep.
My agent was like, look, you got 2 weeks to get ready for this Jets workout. They want to fly you in right after the combine. Go home, get in shape, work on your 40, whatever you got to do, get ready. So that's what I did. I went home, got ready, trained, did all that. Went to the flew in, and that's a whole nother story. I wasn't even supposed to fly. Like, I was on probation. I really wasn't supposed to leave. I wasn't supposed to leave the county of San Antonio this whole time. Yeah. But the judge let me fly out. My probation officer was pissed. Like, yeah, I
know how that goes. I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole nother story. But I was able to fly out, and by the graces of God, man, like, they signed me. And that's a whole nother story. I keep saying another story, but I had my workout. It was Tim McDonald. He's the DB coach.
Yep.
He was the head DB coach. You had Dennis Thurman. He's the defensive coordinator there. And then there was Brian Smith, who's now the defensive coordinator at Rice University. So, but he was like the assistant DB coach there. So they put me through a workout, And I remember there was the coach Dennis Thurman was like, "Hey man, like, you need to go get in shape." And you know what I'm saying? I was like, "Yeah, man, but like, I'm not done." Because he was like, "Man, we done seen enough. We seen enough." I'm like, "Nah, y'all ain't seen enough. Like, let me do more." He was like, "No, what you need to do is get in shape and work on them little ass calves." Like I remember specifically, right? So I'm like, man, maybe he likes me because he joked with me. But I went back, got ready, dressed. We went to go eat, and they have like a 5-star little restaurant in the facility.
Yeah.
And one guy was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to get my physical. They finna sign me." And I'm like, "What? They finna sign you?" Like, damn. And then somebody came over and was like, "Hey, they want you guys to get your physical too." And when the guy I was with was like, "Man, this is my 3rd time doing this with the program. Like sometimes they just want you to get your physical just in case they want to bring you back." So I go get my physical. I'm halfway through the physical, right? This takes like 3-4 hours or whatever. I'm halfway through the physical. And my agent hits me and was like, "Don't fail the physical. As long as you pass, they finna sign you." And I had a bad shoulder. I had some other stuff, but I didn't let that stop me, man. And yeah, man, they ended up signing me. So that was how I got there. That was how I got to I told a whole story and all that, but that's how I got to the league. And then from there, man, my time, it was great, man. Like, I got there at the start of off-season OTAs. I was there. I was able to, be under some really good guys, learn from Antonio Cromartie the most. He was very hands-on with helping. A lot of people talk about like developing, like, young guys developing and stuff like that. To me, the biggest part of development comes from more so the veterans than it is your actual coaches. Like, unless you're just like a guy, like when D. Milliner finally showed up to practice and arrived and like got out his holdout, they were really hands-on with him. But for the most part, and really they just thrust you in. Coaches' jobs for the most part is to get you ready to be on the field, like mentally. Physically, those are things that you maybe have to stay after practice, work on something with Antonio Cromartie, maybe another player or whatever. Your off-season trainers, like really like physically, like when people are like, "Oh, he'll develop this at the next level." Like, no, you probably won't if he's not working on this stuff in the off-season. So or have a veteran that really pulls him to the side to really help him. But it was cool, man. I got to learn from some guys. Revis was there for a little bit before he got traded to Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He held out for a while, then he finally showed up. He was there for like 2 weeks, then he got traded. Rex Ryan, greatest coach I've ever been around. He was awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what was that like?
Yeah, like dude was he changed the way I look at coaches. Like he was a combination of both. Like a lot of times people think you're either a player's coach or you're an X's and O's guy. Well, he was both. He was amazing with X's and O's. His dad created an entire defense, the bear defense or whatever. His dad created a whole defense. He understood this stuff inside and out, but he was able to relate and tell stories. He was a great teacher. He was able to tell stories within how he was teaching plays. And it was something I had never seen before. It was really cool to see. Master motivator. I thought I got the highest respect for Coach Rex Ryan, man. I think he's best coach I've ever been around. So yeah, that, I mean, and then obviously there's the business side of things. Like when I finally did get released, it was Joe McKnight, RIP Joe McKnight. Joe McKnight had a concussion. Brian Winters had an ankle injury, and Chris Ivory had an ankle injury, and we had a lot of depth at the cornerback position. So it was like, oh, well, we can cut Croc and sign, guys to that spot, because you can't put them on IR or they miss the rest of the season or whatever, or you can't cut them, right? So it's like, well, let's cut where we have more depth and we'll be able to add somebody to that position to get us through this game. So that was how I got released. But it was, once you get there, you really understand more so of how much everything is a business. It's crazy I lasted as long as I did because there's guys getting cut left and right every day. They're bringing in guys from workouts like twice a week or whatever, once or twice a week. And you always got your head on the swivel and you understand like any day it could be me. So I think a lot of times when guys get released, I don't think there's too many surprises. You kind of understand like the business of it and kind of the odds of it happening. But it was dope, man. Like it was dope. It was an amazing experience.
Yeah, I find it so fascinating, especially in the independent journalism world, where a lot of guys they'll go on Twitter and they're like, man, I can't believe this player was released, or I had high hopes on this college prospect and they didn't, and they went undrafted, and me, I'm sitting back and like been in this a couple of years. I'm like, well, and then having met guys and now especially hearing your story, it's like the NFL's a meat grinder. It's gonna chew you up and it's gonna spit you out, and the human body can only take so much trauma. You got to think you're playing this sport since Pop Warner, all the way up into the big leagues, so not everyone is able to make it. Everyone all has the same aspirations. One of the things I wanted to touch on was life after football. So first question I have to ask: if Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson calls you right now and says, "Hey, you want to sign with the DC Defenders, or you want to come with the Battlehawks and play in the XFL," would you do it?
Nah, but if he asked me to come on as a scout or something, or like a general manager or something like that, I'd do that.
Okay.
But my playing days, hey, chill. My playing days, they're over, man. Like I'm just not as fast, or like it's the old saying, once you stop using it, you lose it, or whatever.
Yeah.
If you don't use it, you lose it. Well, that's how I stopped really using my speed, and that has really greatly diminished like all my athleticism. Now, I mean, I'm athletic enough to where, like, if we hooped at 24-hour fitness, you could tell I'm athletic or whatever. I could still like dunk stuff, but as far as being able to like compete with all these like young cats on the field and really be able to mirror match them and stuff, nah, not no more. Not at 33, and I'm 33 years old, which is in the non-football world, that's still young.
That's still young,
in the football world, they look at Richard Sherman, who's a year younger than me. They look at him as like, ooh, this might be time to hang it up. So, yeah.
No, I understand. I mean, of course, not from a football standpoint, but if the United States Air Force were to call me right now, hey, we need you for another deployment, I'd be like, I'm sorry, I can't run. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. So what are you up to right now? I know that you have the Crocker Report. You have Rise Athletics. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And then you also, we talked backstage before the show. You've been doing some features out here in Denver on a radio show. So what has life been like post the league?
Yeah, so I mean, after your playing days are over, after the Jets, I went back to the Arena League. I did very well, and I actually stopped playing on my own terms. I was like, 28 years old. I could have kept playing, but I just got out, and it was just like, all right, Eric, like what's gonna be next for you? And it was like, well, I know I like coaching. So I ended up like 7-on-7, coaching that. That was the first thing I did.
Oh, it looks like we got a slight freeze here for a second. No worries. We're gonna get everything fixed. We're gonna get everything fixed. 1 second. One second, guys. We're gonna get this all set back up for you guys. Greatly apologize, but hey, it's all good. It's all good. We'll have it get fixed here momentarily. Yeah, he'll be back in quick. And still works. Awesome. Really quick, is a great time for me to remind you guys of monkeyknifefight.com, and if you download the Monkey Knife Fight app on all Apple and iOS devices, you can go ahead, use promo code RUMBOYS, and we will match your very first deposit all the way up to $50. So want to go ahead and remind you guys about that. monkeyknifefight.com. Also, you can download the Monkey Knife Fight app, and that'll be able to get you guys in on legal daily fantasy sports games that you are able to play. Definitely going to be able to get in on this Sunday's NFL action. So make sure that you guys take a look at that. I heard the dog barking, canine internet sabotage. Surely, yeah, he's gonna be right back. Here shortly. Yeah, you guys, if you just search Eric Crocker on YouTube, of course he has the Crocker Report website, but yeah, there's some videos of him, from his early days working out and things of that nature that I encourage you guys to all check out. Also, if you know any former players, if you know any extra players, or I'm sorry, any young players, have them go ahead and join up as well. No. Hang on. We're getting it fixed. We are getting it fixed. I promise. I promise. Here, 1 second. Apologize. About to get in some interesting stuff out here on the interview. Some things coming up. So some things coming up tomorrow. Rum Boys After Dark. The bar is open. We'll be having a good old time tomorrow night on Rum Boys After Dark. A lot of big headlines. We are just that much closer to the Super Bowl. Also, those of you guys out there looking to be involved for the Super Bowl pregame show. I know a lot of other industry personalities like to be a part of that. I'll be reaching out, getting that all organized so that we can have that all set. Sunday we'll be having play-by-play for you guys. Sunday play-by-play here on the Rum Boys Fantasy Network. I'll be calling both conference championship games, so that's definitely gonna be interesting there. And yeah. And what we'll do is, while we wait for Crocker, we'll go ahead and we'll run commercial really fast.
Let me tell you a little story. Once upon a time, there was a monkey knife fight.
And one day, they met one team partners in the NFLPA.
It's a match made in the pits of a monkey knife fight.
And everyone lived happily ever after.
Are you listening? This is big.
What is a monkey knife fight?
It's thing monkeys, knives, you get it. Fantasy sports is monkey knife fight. And monkey knife fight is fantasy sports.
Monkey Knife Fight is daily fantasy.
Monkey Knife Fight in the house.
I am Monkey Knife Fight.
You are Monkey Knife Fight.
We are all Monkey Knife Fight.
Monkey Knife Fight.
You have the NFLPA behind the company.
It's exciting for me to be a part of fantasy sports.
When I think of fantasy sports, I think of beating all my buddies year in and year out and being able to brag about it.
We're not just partners in it.
We're owners.
And it feels awesome to be an owner.
I challenge you to a monkey knife fight.
We've been saving you a seat at the table, Monkey Knife Fight.
Welcome to the one team and NFLPA family.
Monkey knife fight. Welcome to the family, Monkey Knife Fight.
Welcome to the game, Monkey Knife Fight.
Monkey Knife Fight!
I challenge you to a monkey knife fight.
Monkey knife fight! Monkey knife fight, monkey knife fight, monkey knife fight, monkey knife.
And see, I told you we would have it fixed. Ladies and gentlemen, these things can occur in the field whenever you're running a live podcast, but we always overcome. What's good, Croc? Thank you for coming back, brother.
Yeah, I had to hardwire my stuff for whatever reason. It cut out, but I was still connected to the internet, but it wouldn't let me connect to StreamYard.
Hey, all good, all good. We adapt and overcome. So where were we? What were we saying? Your business ventures now. You mentioned that you were on coaching 7, and you were doing 7-on-7.
Yeah, so that's where I got into everything, but from there I kind of transitioned to training athletes and doing that whole development thing and like kind of learning that I could be more than just an athlete. And my thing was I really wanted to help kids that come from, whether you come from similar backgrounds as me or, had to fight through different adversities. But, if there were a way that I could help kids not make a lot of the same mistakes that I made, I wanted to do so. So I got into training athletes, coaching athletes, anything that really involved kids. And then from there, I did that for about 4 or 5 years. And then I moved to Arkansas I moved from California, Stockton, California to Arkansas to finish getting my degree where I went to college. And from there, man, I just started kind of training athletes here, and one thing led to another. I created a business plan a few years back to one day have my own training facility. And this was like, I guess everything happens for a reason. God just kind of puts you in places where he feels like, are best for you. And it was like everything just kind of went my way, man. The ball started rolling with my business ventures with that. And I got into training athletes and doing something I'm really passionate about. And there's a lot of different things I want to do with that. But I finally got that up and going after years of kind of sitting on the plan. And so I do that. And then obviously you guys have seen, Crocker Report. That was one thing where, I'm really passionate about, watching film, breaking down prospects and everything like that. And, nobody was paying me to do it. Nobody's like, hey, we'll pay you, to write for our site or, break down these prospects or anything like that. So it's like, man, forget it. I'm just going to make my own.
I'm going to do it myself. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just created my own, man. And we're really, right now is kind of the peak of our draft season, where it's not the peak, it's the start of it. So we're just now getting into it. We created the Crocker Report podcast. So I have a lot of great guys that are involved in that. My guy, John Hagler, DP, Mike Fees, Eugene. We have some guys that are really hands-on with all that. So make sure you guys check into the Crocker Report. They just had a podcast about the Senior Bowl. We got credentialed for the Senior Bowl. And I'm mad because it's like, dang, I got credentialed as a member of the media. I can actually be there, but I can't because I'm starting my business and everything. So, I have to be here with my, to train my athletes. So I can't take that time off. But yeah, man, it's like everything is really working out, kind of how I envisioned it going. And, more times than not, that's not usually the case. But I've been really patient and, always stayed 10 toes down with whatever I did, and everything's really paying off.
Yeah. Hey, this is my off season as well. We're just doing scouting reports over here. Y'all ever need an extra guest for a pod, I could come on and discuss some prospects and rankings. You know what it is. Just saying, brother. Just saying. No, I respect that, and I like that you said you stayed 10 toes. You stayed 10 toes down. To do is to bet on yourself, and of course, whenever anyone kind of branches off into like their own business and branches off as an entrepreneur, you never know exactly how it's going to turn out. You kind of wake up one day, you're like, I want to start a business, and then you start doing the research, and then all apprehensions kind of just fade away and they go away, and just like, what, I'm all in, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is how we're going to do it. And then one day it just kind of works out, and things start clicking. You're just like, whoa, like.
You gotta go all in. That was one thing I learned.
Yeah.
I trained athletes for the last 5 years, and it was like while I was doing that, I was working at an elementary school, and you can kind of get by at that point if it's something you're really passionate about, but you're not really all in on it. It's just a hobby. Yep. Like to make it like a real legitimate business venture of yours, like you have to go all in, and you can't go into it with with the thoughts of, well, what if I fail? Like, or you know what I'm saying? Because then you're already 1 foot out the door. You know, you got to go all in and just say, look, I'm gonna figure this out as I go, but I know we're gonna make this work. Because when you got your back to the wall, you got no choice but to make it work. And I've been in a lot of different circumstances like that. And every time I just told myself, this is what I'm gonna do, I did it, you know? So that's one thing I've learned. Like, if it's something you have it in your mind that's what you want to do, you have to go all in on it. And if you don't, it's not gonna work out.
It's not gonna work out.
You have to be accessible. You have to, you know, put your time. You got to be willing to reach out to people. You got to be willing to go on, you know, YouTube or, you know what I'm saying? Like, different people. So, you know, both of the things I do, they kind of work together in a sense, you know, with my athletic training, sports performance that I'm starting out and what I'm really trying to build it into. And then even my, my eye for, for prospects and things like that. And they kind of coexist in a sense. And it's really cool just kind of seeing the two things take off and really at the same time. But the training is taking off a little faster, because of just, the need of it in this area. But obviously everybody really loves hearing about prospects and talking about it. And I have a really long-term goal. That's the thing too. Like, there's short-term goals, there's long-term goals. And you have to figure out, okay, what's that going to look like? A lot of people, they want this instant success that is like right now. And more times than not, that's not how it's going to work. You're typically going to have to, lay down the groundwork, take some chances, make a lot of sacrifices. And over time, there might even be some rough times. There might be something, how am I going to pay this bill? You'll figure it out, right? But there might be some tough times. But you're going to have to go through that to get to where you want to get to. And as long as you're able to, keep your head down and do it and not punk out, you're going to be better off.
Better off. No, there's a rapper by the name of Russ, and he says a song. He said I took a lot of swings and says this isn't the first at bat for me. You gotta step up to the plate and take those swings. Sometimes you're gonna strike out and sometimes you're not. But eventually you're gonna hit the pinnacle. I want to get into to this weekend's games before I let you go. We have, of course, on our Sunday slate, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, and Buffalo and Kansas City. What is your thought process first on the Bucs Packers game?
Man, I mean, two great Hall of Fame amazing quarterbacks in Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. And those guys are really brought up a lot in the conversation of who's the best quarterback of all time, right? And most people would say Tom Brady, but I think when you look at kind of physically gifted and what he's done over an extended period of time and the level he's still playing at, there are guys that say, yeah, Brady is the greatest ever because of his accomplishments, but Aaron Rodgers is the most, maybe the more special quarterback that's done it at this high level for this consistent time over a career. And it's really amazing thing that we're seeing, with him, where he's like 38 years old, and it looks like he's probably going to be league MVP. His talent, his ability to make, crazy throws, the timing of everything, I think he's amazing. Definitely elevates a lot of his the players around him. I mean, he's making Alan Lazard be a household name, right? Yeah. As far as the game goes, man, I mean, it's tough to go against the Packers.
Yep.
When the eye test says that they're playing better football. But at any moment, man, I mean, the Bucs, they have guys over there. The receiving core, as long as AB is healthy, he's still able to play very well. You got Mike Evans, who I think is, borderline top 5 receiver in the league. Probably doesn't get that respect, but it should have been going over 1,000 yards for 7-8 seasons straight if it weren't for that injury in the last game. And then you have Godwin, who's playing at a very high level as well. They have a lot of weapons. I think defensively they have a good enough pass rush. That secondary, they can play very well in spurts. There's just a lot to like about them. But man, it just almost seems like no matter how this game goes, Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, they're almost just
gonna have their way.
I don't know how, I don't know why, but the way they work off of that run game, the way LaFleur has that whole thing cooking up, he's a protege of Kyle Shanahan and McVay, in the way that they like to, everything to work off of their run actions or their, running the ball. So I think they're going to consistently lean on that. And then obviously A-Rod, he's just going to make some special throws throughout the game. And I think that's going to be a difference. So if I had to kind of put my money on one team, I'm going to go to Packers.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's kind of the way that I've been going as well. I've been telling everybody, hey, I think the Packers they got this one. As long as there's an Aaron Jones, and definitely as long as there's a Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers' job is made significantly easier, and they're just playing damn good football right now, and it cannot be denied. And then the next game that we're going to break down, of course, the Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Vanilla Vic has to go up against Mahomes. How are you feeling about this one? Yes, that's my nickname for him.
Yeah. I like both teams. Obviously, it's hard. I can't bet against the Chiefs. They just showed the play at a high level. A few years back, I said, hey man, like the Chiefs are the Warriors of the NFL. And people took a lot of shots at me, right? And I'm like, no, like not. They're like, well, the Warriors got championships. Don't ever compare the Chiefs to the Warriors. Like, dude, you got. I'm like,
the way they're building and the way they were building up.
Yeah, the way I meant it was in a sense of play style, where there's no lead that's big enough, right? Yep. Like it's like they always can come back. I had seen several times during this year, and this was their AFC Championship run where they lost in that because of that D Ford offsides. But it was just like watching how they play, the way that Mahomes plays and how he's able to just flick the ball around and throw the ball. He does a lot of things that you probably wouldn't teach your quarterback to do. And that reminds me of Steph Curry. Steph Curry takes shots and shoots, at angles and does these things where you wouldn't teach a kid that.
No,
but he does that at a high level. It's almost like you just got to let this dude do him, be him, and ball out. And that reminded me of Mahomes. And just, the big plays, the explosive plays remind me of the Warriors, airing out those threes with Thompson, and just their play styles reminded me of each other. And now you're seeing it at the highest level where, at any moment they can just, look what they did to my Niners in the Super Bowl. 49ers held them to 10 points, all the way up until 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And next thing you know, they put up 3 touchdowns in 6 minutes or whatever it was. So yeah, they're just too talented. I guess I would say, they're too special with Andy Reid, fearless. Dude went for it on 4th and 1 from midfield, with the game on the line.
He's so
backup quarterback.
Yeah, he's so disrespectful. He's so disrespectful with the play calling. He's like, he literally does not care who is on the other side. Like Andy Reid's just like 4th down. 4th and 12. Oh, Waffle House menu. I'm not even looking at a playbook. Let's just do whatever.
And they threw it. Like, it was just, just that mindset to be aggressive and I think, aggressive people in life, they win. Yeah. Passive people, you don't come up big. Those are regular people. People that do special things, they're aggressive and they take chances. And sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. This situation and what it's looked like over the last couple of years for the Chiefs, it definitely has paid off. So I can't bet against them, but I do like a lot of what the Bills are doing. Josh Allen, he's a Central Valley boy. He's from a town not too far away from me. My junior college quarterback actually trains him in the offseason at times. I know he works with Palmer as well, but he works with my boy a lot. My boy Greg Pinelli. So there's ties there. I think what Allen and Diggs are doing, I think that's special. That connection that they've had this year. Their defense has played exceptionally well over the last half of the season. They started off the season pretty slow, but the last half of the season they kind of come to their own with Leslie Frazier. They're doing very well defensively. So it'll be interesting. I think having guys like Tre'Davious White who can match up with guys here and there. Tyreek Hill's not a good matchup for anybody, but I think if there is a guy where you're like, hey, I feel comfortable at certain times just putting you on him, I think that's a good matchup. So I like the Bills, and if it were anybody but the Chiefs, I would maybe put money on the Bills, but I just can't bet against the Chiefs. Their balls are too big, they just do too much good stuff, and they're consistent with it. It's not flash in the pan type stuff. They're consistently really good. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Bills won, but if I had to put money on it, I'm putting my money on the Chiefs.
I agree. I agree. Whenever you cannot play time possession style football against a team that you need to play time possession style football, and that doesn't work, and they let you know right out the gate that it's not going to work. I agree. It makes it very difficult with an offense that can score at will in Kansas City. It's going to be very, very, very interesting, and I'm excited to see what your takes are going to be on Twitter and such whenever this weekend is all said and done, and we're down to just the two best teams from each conference. Super, super excited. Eric, if you don't mind, man, just let the people know, where they can find you, and also if you have anything else that you want to hit on, the floor is yours, brother.
Oh yeah, man, you gotta just check me out at Eric_Crocker. That's the main Twitter account. I've also have the Crocker Report at Crocker Report Twitter account, Instagram account, crockerreport.com. So check in, man. You guys see things are growing, everything's heading in the right direction, and everybody that's tuning in here, man, if there's something that you guys are you strive to do or you strive to be, like, you got to believe in yourself. I know it sounds cliche, but you really got to believe in yourself, and two, you got to really go all in on that. Like, you can't half-ass it or you're never going to get the results you want. So that's kind of how I'm going to exit this thing.
Amen to that. Amen to that. It's also some comments, towards the end. Hey, take that shot. Shoot or shoot. That's right. That's how it is.
But you can't just say it. You gotta really live
it.
that. And there's gonna be some uncomfortable times taking your shot. There's gonna be some uncomfortable times taking your shot, but you gotta embrace it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta embrace it.
Yeah. Hey, I also, one of the things I found interesting throughout this interview, like how many things, like you and I both completely different walks of life, but how many just different things. Like, I once was working at Macy's for $7 an hour, so I know, and actually I used to live in LA, so like it's crazy, a small world. You never know who you guys are gonna meet. All the podcasters out there, the piece of advice that I want to leave you guys: reach out to people. You never know what an opportunity may present itself. I hopped into the film session Monday, and Eric was like, "How come you ain't having me on your podcast?" And I was like, "Oh snap! I'm getting called out." And we made it happen. You never know what's going to happen, what opportunities can lead to, who you're going to meet, and just how well and how genuine a conversation has gone. Everyone that's ever worked with me knows I usually send out a show sheet. We did this interview just organic, just genuine.
Yep. Just do it. Yep.
I appreciate everyone for tuning in. You can follow me at Rumboy, spelled with a Z-N-E-T. Make sure that you guys follow Eric Crocker. Google him. All right? Google him, and I promise everything is going to pop up for you guys. I greatly appreciate all of you for tuning in. Thank you all. Cheers to me. Cheers to you, all the Rumboys and girls. What it do. Dilly dilly. Have a blessed afternoon. We appreciate all of you. Peace.